Hey guys, Carrie Cobb here, your boss business coach, where we coach you how to build opportunities through simple solutions. Today's simple solution, personal branding. Pretty much marketing the brand called you. Marketing the brand called you is imperative to start building trust and to gain clients. Your personal brand is how you create a connection, build trust, attract that ideal client that you're looking to work with. So your most unique advantage in attracting clients to choose you is just that. Guys, it's you. Perception is reality. What is the brand perception of you in your local market? That's what we're going to be going over today. Stay tuned. All right. Let's get started. Personal branding. I felt like this was the best way to just start off the new year, in the sense of now we need to focus on what we look like, who we look like to the general public. Does everybody agree? When people see us online, what do they think? What do they see? All right, so today's session, again, kicking off that 8-session social media boot camp, it is focusing on branding for real estate agents or any other business owner, to be frank. But we are going to focus on that realtor. There you go. Spit it out, Carrie. Today's number one goal is to share not only proven ideas, but tips and strategies that's going to help you create a personal brand that's going to create that connection that we're trying to build. All right. Also building some trust and attracting your ideal clients. So who's ready to start this personal branding? Here we go. Everybody should know me by now. Carrie Cobb, the boss coach, where I coach you to build opportunities through simple solutions. That's correct. All right. Enough about me. What are we going to look at today? We're going to talk about 3 steps to personal branding. We're going to look at some branding makeovers and be thinking about, do we need to do that? We're going to talk about how to take that brand and really get it out there to storytell through content. Also, by building that trust, because we're trying to create that brand, we're trying to get that message out of what is our brand. Part of that is getting some reviews. And then last but certainly not least, your one big idea of today. All right. Personal branding is the practice of people marketing themselves and their careers as brands. Would you agree with that? I would.
Yes.
Okay.
You want feedback? Yes.
Yes. All right. So let's take a moment and let's talk about logos in general. Branding is more than a logo, and contrary to popular belief, brand storytelling is not just about your company logo. So I want to put that out there. It's about your customers and the value that they get when engaging with your product or service. So some of the most powerful brand stories are the ones where the customers are the stars. Did you hear that? So I want you to think of your company more as that supporting character. Okay, so for real estate agents, branding is going to be much more of a personal thing. It's got less to do with the logo or what color what color to make your business cards, and far more to do with the brand perception that clients associate with you in the local market. So, I mean, how many of you have ever gotten a client and said, wow, did you see that logo? But by looking at these logos on the screen, I want you to think about how now logos do enhance your overall brand perception. Okay, I want you to finish this statement for me. Perception is
everything.
It's everything.
Reality.
It's also reality. Ross gets the yes, perception is reality. Okay, that's number one. Let's try this one. You never get a second chance to
Make a first impression.
Make a first impression. You are 100%. So in today's world of people looking us up online, are they already formed perception?
Yeah.
Whew. Are they already forming perceptions based on how professional our online presence is? Yes. If you look at these logos right here, you already get some sort of emotion just by looking at them. That didn't happen by chance. I know some of us see that Amazon one in the corner. It gets us all excited, right? That didn't happen by chance. That's the point I'm making. But the logo itself, standing alone, is not the brand. It helps you recognize the brand. Okay. So what's the brand perception of you currently in your local market? All right. So that's what we're going to talk about. Are you aware of that yet? Today, you're going to learn how to take control of the brand called you. So like I stated earlier on the agenda, 3 steps to personal branding. We're going to talk about choosing that target market, creating a professional image, and sharing relevant content. Now let's unpack each one of these a little bit further. There you go. Thank you, Dominique. I'm glad you're here. Now, many of us believe that our target audience is everyone, and this isn't the case. Will we help everyone? Yes, sure. A friend of a friend may know somebody. You could get a referral that way, but we can't target the world. So if you're serious about social media, then you got to pay attention. You've got to choose your audience with very much thought and knowledge. So who is your target audience? I want you to think about your target base over the year, or your client base over the year. Okay. Are they local? Are they from out of town? How old are they? Are they first-time buyers? Are they members of military? Where did you meet them? Now think about whether there's a way to expand your current client database. Your target audience doesn't have to be one set group. Okay. Your target customers can be several groups. However, you want to create your profile on social media avenues that are best suited to engage with your target audience. Okay. So you want to also create useful content that's going to keep them coming back for more and more. Be there to answer their questions. They know you're a real estate professional, from your description. So now's your duty to provide them with great content and answers. Okay. All right. It's helpful to get into your target client's mind and understand how you can solve their pain points. What value, and here's what you got to start thinking, what value are you bringing to the table? What is the primary benefit that you provide? Okay. Maybe you bring in-depth local market knowledge in a particular neighborhood. I know I do in the neighborhood I live in. I was also born and raised here in Onslow County. I know quite a bit in our area. Maybe you love first-time home buyers, have an affinity for helping people with real estate. Maybe you prefer the empty nesters who's entering into a new phase of their life and you can relate to them. Maybe you're like me and you've been divorced so many times, you want to work with people that are getting divorced, right? Or getting married. Because they've been married so many times. Haha, sorry, babe. So you remember that back in the day when we used to listen to regular radio, now we listen to XM or Sirius, but why did people tune into their favorite station? Just asking.
What's in it for them?
Right. What's in it for them? What do they have a connection with the hosts? That kind of stuff. So with our target market ideas, here's some examples of possible target markets for you to consider. Now, these are groups of people, first-time home buyers, people that are relocating, veterans. Or instead of looking at groups of people, we can look at like places, your property or locations, okay? Maybe you want to specialize in beachfront or lake properties, or maybe your niche is equestrian properties, or you're an expert in a few select geographic farms. So these are just a few ideas for you to consider for your target market, because that's going to help develop your brand. Now let's look at how you take that target market and then brand to that target market, right? When you look at this, what do you think this says to people? Does it tell the first-time home buyer, hey, I'm going to call them?
It's a little upscale, but these youngsters, these first-time home buyers, they got moving.
Right. So this is more going to be for your country lifestyle. I mean, it's in their slogan, selling country lifestyles. Maybe more of an equestrian feel. That is what they're branding. And their brand matches the target market audience that they're serving. Okay, think about that because we're going to use this example later on. Got a lot of feedback today. I'm not sure what's going on. All right, here's a real estate brokerage who they're all veterans or family members of veterans. So with their unique experience, they are now going to brand themselves, because notice it says Agent Hero and it says trust the real estate veterans. There you go. So their brand is that slogan, and then they have the Agent Hero is their logo, but they are branding and their target market is branding toward veterans. Okay. All right. Everybody knows who first responders are: police, fire, EMT. Okay. These guys are part of like a sisterhood or brotherhood, just like the military. So for an agent like Chris Spivey out of North Carolina, he's a former EMT who's integrated his story into his personal real estate brand. Just like me, I was a teacher. Okay. So with that, he then decided to take his brand and then he created the first responder only program. His target audience is first responders. And of course, he shares his story, which is his brand, which is the perception people have about being an EMT for 13 years. So he has a deep understanding of this market, and he also has the passion to help those that he knows very well. Okay. This is how you get yourself, you establish that brand that you want, or that perception you want everybody to feel or see of you. And then now you target that market you want to target through your branding. All right, let's shift to your professional image. Now we've talked about your target market. The next critical step in creating your brand is having some sort of professional image. Now, I know some of us have seen some bad real estate agent photos. Do you think we are judged or people make assumptions based upon our professional image?
Yes.
Yes. So I want to share with you some examples from the Personal Branding Hall of Shame. No. Anyway, so, I mean, you can do it. It gets people's attention. But so Chris Clark takes out a huge billboard and what it says, look what it says. So Chris is proposing a couple not to get a divorce, rather just buy a bigger house from him. You know, we call this the Hall of Shame, but it's actually kind of catchy.
It is catchy.
Right. But is this the brand that you want people to think of when you think of you? I mean, we all have, like, I have a funny personality and I like to make jokes, but when people are thinking of me, I want them to think first and foremost that I'm going to help you. I'm going to coach you through the situation through simple solutions, right? That's my whole brand. That's what I try to get through to people. All right, I'm all for humor, but Dave's slogan, it does get your attention. #1 sales rep in the region, according to my mother. Only Dave's mother was surveyed. Just saying. Things you could do or I wouldn't do. I don't know. Yes, that's so funny. In the comments, if I was divorcing, I would not want the world to see me with him. Yes, agreed. All right, so lastly, we have Bill Wetzel, the price fighter. I guess he's going to kung fu kick the crap out of high prices. Now, I'll say this: if his brand, if he does, you know, Krav Maga or Taekwondo or any of the martial arts, this is not a bad. It's branding. Depending on, again, how do you want to be perceived? It's all about that. Because that's going to be your brand. The perception of you is your brand. All right. So we've seen some bad, ugly, or however you want to view it. Now let's look at some branding makeovers. All right. Repeat after me. Same is lame. Everybody hear me?
Same as lame.
Same as lame. Meaning if you look like every other agent in town, how do you possibly rise above the noise and get picked out as the go-to agent in your market? So same is lame. Yes, Bonnie said she comes from a logographic background, so she understands that. Yes. All right, let's look at Carolyn from the bottom left to the right. Now, the bottom left's not horrible, but her slogan is horrible. It just says real estate professional.
Oh my goodness. I know her because I'm from California.
Oh, you do? Well, she's a beautiful
Yes, I
woman.
do.
Well, let me tell you, everybody I hope on this call is a real estate professional. So that's not going to help you rise above the sameness. I love the makeover because you go over to the right-hand side. I love the fact that she chose lighter colors. Now that is a personal preference. I mean, when you look at them, and you're going to look at a few more examples, what catches your eye, quickly? I love the
Colors
light.
are great.
Yes.
Love the
And
colors.
then look at, now she has, like, this is my value proposition, a legacy of service. Not only is it a slogan, but it's her value proposition, meaning I'm proposing to you, if you work with me, you will get the same customer service that I've provided stellar, however long I've been in the business. So now we know with her comes good customer service instead of just a real estate professional.
She's been in
All
the
right.
business, but she's been in the business a long time. We got licensed together in California.
That's
And
awesome,
that was in
Karen.
2005.
That is awesome. Okay. That is too cool. All right. You're
Karen,
the first person that's ever known somebody from some of the examples. Ross, what were you going to say?
could you step back a second on her? And I
Mhm.
think it's relevant also for Manny here. But the before, there is no focus about her at all. That's 3/4 of the card is the black background, and you don't think about her one
Right.
bit. But my eye goes right to that beautiful image on her new card, and
Right.
she catches my attention before I read anything. She did a
Right.
great job with that makeover.
Well, and Ross brings up, thank you, Ross. Ross brings up a good point. And I'm just going to say this, and I know there are people on the call that are BICs or, real estate company owners, but I'm going to say this to you as realtors, because I had to learn this the hard way too. Don't brand yourself as that company. Did everybody hear me? Because when you leave a company, are you branding yourself that no matter where you go, they're going to know you, or they're going to know that you work for Giving Tree or Military Relocator or Century 21? That's what you've got to take into consideration. Because like Ross said, here, now we know Carolyn. Beautiful. She stands out. Less about the company she's with, because we all know we go to different companies. They're not really doing anything for our clients. They're providing tools for us to make us better professionals. So we've got to remember to brand us. Who are we? I am not Movement Mortgage. I am Carrie Cobb, the boss coach that works for Movement Mortgage. Do you feel what I'm saying? So here we have Manny. And again, I'm going to bring up Ross. I agree with you wholeheartedly. Back here, Carolyn, you have Tucker and Associates real big. She's not the focal point until she does the makeover. And then same with poor Manny. You got Sutton real big. I mean, this is horrible. They're going to throw away that first card. But the second card, now we got a beautiful visual. We got a good looking guy who, okay. Well, and Dominique, the guy it depends. But if you know Manny and you've gotten to know him, that picture, either way, I think it needs to have some sort of picture on there. And I love that he chose warm colors, because to me, I look at that picture and I just feel it's like comfort. Like I feel like I'm going in a log cabin, even though I can't see the whole thing.
Yeah, with the wood and the stone. Yeah, good colors. Yeah.
Yes, very. All right. Bonnie says she agrees. Logos are very important. Make a statement plus the slogan. Agreed. Look at the difference with Becky here. Becky, she says the same thing in the first card that she says in the second, but the first card looks so staged. She's like, hey, I'm here. You're one step closer to home. Whereas you go to the second one, she looks like she's in her living room or she's
Body
leaning-
language changed too.
Right. Well, I love the fact she looks like she's leaning in to talk to me. She now has her name really big. It is warm and fuzzy, Bonnie. And then I love she took, because I'm going to tell you, font, and that is the typeface, we call it, meaning the lettering. It means a lot. Just like when somebody sends you all caps, you know what that means. Somebody's yelling at you. Well, here, by taking this and making this cursive, it brings about like a feeling of, hi, I'm your friend. I don't know. It just gives me, it makes a huge statement. I'm gonna agree with you, Bonnie. Then look what she added, top 1% in Kansas City. Not bad. And then she added a few other things here. Look how small her company is. Boop, boop. She's not branding them. She's branding who? Becky Budke. All right, look at old Barry. Barry is the picture in Webster's dictionary for same as lame. Because that, well, and I gotta tell you, some of my first original, long time ago, back in, God, was I licensed in 2000? On your side of the transaction, my first cards for real estate looked like this. Horrible. They did have a little picture of me. I think it was smaller than this. But then it was just bloop, bunch of information. I mean, somebody might keep that, but I'm telling you, I wouldn't. Yeah, I like his makeover. Now, somebody in the last class I taught brought up a good suggestion, maybe, because here, what do we see with him? We see the old car. We see up here his slogan, old-fashioned service and reliability. I wish he would have put, like somebody suggested earlier, maybe an older home in the background, because it almost gives you the impression that he sells cars.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I got what he was trying to say. We were picking up when he was laying down, but okay.
But car salesmen, they don't do so well.
Exactly.
Yeah,
All
he's got
right,
he's
so-
got another subtlety in there, Carrie. If I just noticed it, I didn't notice it the first time. But he's talking good old fashioned service and reliability. He's also touching his wedding ring, so he's promoting some traditional values, family,
Oh, Ross,
marriage
good
sort of
catch.
approach there
Good
too.
catch.
Look at you.
All right, deep.
Yeah.
That's true, because I have seen some people, like Ross mentioned, like a handshake. Because I can tell you, back in my parents' day, there was no, my dad, who God rest his soul, passed away 2 years ago. He was a mechanic and he believed on the handshake. There was no contract, and he did cars. He fixed cars. So he believed. And he was like, you were only as good as your word. That was his motto. And your word was a handshake. I'm saying I'm going to do this and I'm going to deliver. Here's my handshake. So I've seen that along with that, Ross, with the fact of, I like the wedding ring, because it does those things. They give us a certain feeling, like it, for us to trust them. There you go.
They do.
Okay. All right. So we've talked about images, professional images, and doing, branding makeovers. Now let's talk about those slogans that we've been looking at. Now, you just saw some creative slogans in our makeover examples, but having, and this is what we got to remember, having an effective slogan can be extremely useful for your real estate brand. Now, a slogan can be a quick, memorable way for your audience to learn something about your brand. But if you only write down one thing about creating a slogan today, it should be that your slogan needs to appeal to emotion. Even better if it resonates deeply within your target market. Did everybody hear that? Kind of like Ross mentioned, the old-fashioned service and reliability, the wedding ring. All right, Douglas Elliman, he's real estate. He was the #1 real estate brokerage in New York City, #4 nationwide. So for years, his slogan was Ask Elliman. It incredibly effective. And he was able to integrate it in all aspects of real estate and advertising. Okay, so you go ahead and ask Elamon. Then he just launched a new brand campaign. Felt like it was time. It's called It's Time. Ha, get it, pun? It's time. It's time for Elamon. So this was meant to help boost his exposure, his brand. And notice that, I mean, all these ads, it starts with a problem. First job, first apartment. It's time for Elamon. You know, whenever getting out the door is a challenge, you need someone who knows the market. It's time for Elamon. So just think of something like that that's going to resonate with people. You might look at it and say, that doesn't resonate with you. You've got to think, remember, go back.
Out of the box. That's cool.
Out of the box, but think about who have you been targeting and how have you reached them? And we're going to get to that in a second. Here is Ebby Halliday, who is a longtime successful brokerage in Texas. I like that she took her name as the logo, Ebby. And then, of course, underneath it, Halliday Realtors, and then very, very short, quick, to the point URL or website, ebby.com. That's pretty cool. All right, here's another slogan example. Coffee and keys. So what you normally see in her marketing or branding, excuse me, is that she often meets her clients during the early stages for coffee and throughout the sales process, and ultimately hands over the keys to a new homeowner. And that's a lot of her posts. So coffee and keys. I mean, does that tell you anything other than you're going to probably get some coffee when you buy a home with her? No. But again, that was her choice to brand herself that way. Right? I'm not going to tell you what's right or wrong for you. That's first and foremost here. It's got to be right for you, and it's got to be how you want to show up. How do you want people to perceive you? All right, here's an example of a slogan using location. She used a little bit of play on sounds, what's called onomatopoeia. Does anybody remember that from English? Trusted in the Tri-Cities. I mean, somebody could do that here that worked in the Triangle area, trusted in the Triangle. So she has created a slogan that's catchy, but also it brands her to a target market. And this target market isn't a certain set of people. It is an area, a geographic area, Tri-Cities. Do you see how we're kind of meshing all these together now, connecting them? So if you're not branding yourself, someone else is going to do it for you. And what that means is how you're posting things, what you're posting. We've just got to step back and go, how do we want to be perceived? What value am I bringing to these people? Because that's how I want to be branded. Because like I said, if you're not branding yourself, somebody's going to for you. All right. I know we've gone over quite a bit of material, but we're only halfway there. So take a brief moment. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any great marketing tips, and put in the comments below a great takeaway that you've already taken away from this video so far. Or tell us what your brand is currently. I'm excited to see. Let's compare notes. All right, down below. We have got to take our brand, that perception we want everybody to see. And if there are hiccups or what have you, but we've got to get our story out through storytelling. And that's what we're going to talk about. What is your story? What are you telling in your stories? You know, meaning real estate storytelling, I feel like, is so overlooked. It's a marketing strategy. It's going to use a combination of your text, your video, your social media posts, websites, branding elements, all of this to tell that overarching story about properties, places, real estate, you know, within your geographic area or the people that you want to work with. All right. Stories are very engaging. They're going to keep people's attention. example right here. And not only is it to keep their attention, but it's showing them who you are, your brand. It's creating that perception of you. Because like we said, if you don't do it, somebody's going to. All right. You could do a journey about a buyer or a seller. All right. Let's take a look at a few others. Different content we can use is the primary. Let me back up. Today, sharing content, relevant content with your target market is the primary way to engage that target audience. Ross, you're fine. It's going to help you build trust, and it's going to position yourself as that agent of choice for buyers and sellers. But you've got to get your brand out there, and we're talking about how to get that out there through storytelling with content. Whether you create educational content, entertaining, or convincing. All right. So educational. People are wanting to buy or sell. How long does that journey take? That's what I was telling you about. You could create a whole story about the buyer's journey and how you help them through that. The seller's journey, how you help them through that. Okay. That way, when they think of selling or buying, they think of you. Now let's look at some different story examples. You know, who are you? What is your brand? Why do they want to work with you? Like Karen said, don't call me, don't worry about my last name. Call me Karen. Here's what I do. What are your hobbies, your passions, your interests? What do you like to work with? Client specialty. Let's take a look at this really quickly.
Hi, I'm Becky Barrick. I am a vintage loving, whiskey drinking, garden growing, beekeeping, chicken wrangling, house selling, mother of 3, and married to my best friend. We are Becky Barrick and Associates. We are full-time, full-service, committed to our craft and to excellence, and ultimately committed to our clients. We get to do what we love, where we love, here in the Pacific Northwest, and with people that we love to work with. Thank you so much for allowing us the opportunity to be your real estate agents.
It was an awesome video. It told you a little bit about her. I could see Karen doing something like that, and then putting in the middle, everybody asks about my last name, you know, something like that. We could all use that example and create something. Now, it doesn't have to be nicely edited like they have it. You could just simply be telling that story and then post it. All right. You could do stories about communities. If you want to review a local business, maybe something's coming up in the community, topical news, maybe they're building a new bypass around the corner, some neighborhood highlights, local amenities, maybe concerts or events. All right. What about these? I've seen a lot of these on TikTok lately in Reels, but walking buyers through the home, highlighting most valuable features from front to back. You can do this simply by putting together a bunch of high quality photos, also featuring nearby amenities, the pool, the clubhouse, the, let's say, golf course. Remember, I told you before you start working on your brand, maybe you need to look back at that past client database and kind of make this twofold. Meaning, okay, everybody I've worked for, it doesn't matter if you've worked with 5 people last year. Call them, ask them, say, hey, would you mind doing me a favor? I would love if you created just a quick little video of why you liked working with me. How did I help you? Describe your experience. Tell them to record it and text it to you. You can utilize that in your reels, your stories, what have you, TikToks. Okay. But not only that, while you have them on the phone, ask them. Maybe they'll help you you will develop your value proposition. Value proposition through speaking to them, by them telling you what value you provided for them. Okay. Get them to help you. If you're at a loss as to, I don't know what my brand's going to be, I don't have a clue. Some additional videos that you could, or stories you could tell to get your brand out there. Hey, I'm all about customer service. Did you know that the minimum down payment required for FHA is 3.5%? Because right here, these statistics are true. Over 54% do not know the minimum credit score that's required to get a loan. Or 40% don't know what the minimum down payments are. 59% of people don't know the maximum back-end debt to income ratio. Now, if you don't know the answers to those either, call me. I'll give you the information. You create the information and spit it out. Do a video. Like I could go, hey, this is how I'm going to integrate my brand with my storytelling. Hey guys, your boss coach today. Today's boss business tip, save for your appraisal. VA appraisals are now $800 in Onslow County. You got to pay that up front. Maybe do another video. Today's boss business tip, make sure you save for that earnest money deposit or the due diligence. Talk to people about the process, but getting that brand out there by also offering a value. Okay? Here, some people would rather be entertained than educated. So here's an example. Here we go. Now, for sake of time, we're not going to watch the whole thing, but this guy got 31,000 views. Yes. Now, it's about his family. It's about fun. It's about snow. How I would integrate my brand. Again, boss coach. Hey, guys, today's boss business tip. We're going outside and spending some family time in the snow.
Hey, Carrie, I guess we'll get this later. How did he end that? Did he come up himself and show himself? I'm just curious. You slide along.
It's all about a snow day.
Okay, all right.
You want pickled beans or cocoa pebbles? Russian croutons.
In the cabinet. Okay.
Let's go, right?
The kids kept being sent home.
Well, at least we know it can't get much worse.
That's how he ends it. I mean, that's if you now I don't know exactly where he's located. Oh, Middle Tennessee. Yes. So I can tell you North Carolina, they shut down everything. So the majority of that video was very true. And then at the end, so he did comedic relief, and then he just put a small blurb in there about himself. There you go.
Good to mix it up like that.
It is, because they want to see. I mean, you've just incorporated your whole family. You know what I mean? All right.
And 90% of people that are living through that, not only are people having a homeschool and they're already going nuts, the kids were on winter break, they go back to school, they're back out.
Oh, yes. Amen. You're like, what? Snow day? What? All right. So we looked at educational. We looked at, funny or entertaining. Let's talk about convincing content. This is where that brand's got to speak to people and say, why should they hire you? Is it because you're tech savvy? Is it because you're the neighborhood expert? Do you have a history of results? How many, have you been in the business for years? Maybe you haven't, and that's okay. Maybe you have a different value proposition. How many clients have you served? Recognitions and awards. This is a cool infographic that an agent created to show what he brings to the table. So 10 years of experience. He's done over 100 million in real estate transactions. Then a bit about John. I like that. Avid football fan, trains dogs for the blinds, avid golfer, proud father. I mean, that is very easy to read. It could be a great post. He could tweet that, put it on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, what have you. Right? I mean, that's different than a video. And like Robin just said, it's good to kind of switch it up periodically. Not always videos, not always a post, not always. You just got to, like I said.
It makes you transparent too, because sometimes people don't realize that as realtors, we are people. We are suffering through COVID like everybody else. We have kids out of school. Like, we are you. So again, that's an additional connection to people. Like, look, I'm going through this mess just like you are.
Yes. Now, a lot of people, this next tiny brief thing, because I want to get us off of here by 12:30, but is about reviews. And you're thinking, well, why does that have to play into my brand? Well, again, these reviews are going to demonstrate that value proposition that you've put out there. Your reviews should come back and confirm your brand that you're wanting to be out there. Okay. And if not, how do we fix that? So just want to point this out. This a recent study from Zip Realty's survey of 2,500 home buyers. They asked home buyers, what would convince you to choose an agent that you found online? 62% of people said they had excellent reviews. 22% says they're active in the community. Now, let's back up. How did they find your reviews? Do you think they go straight to the reviews, or did they find you from your branded content on social media? Because that's what I'm going to tell you. I do a training, which is going to be in the second quarter of this year, about millennials. Millennials, you're going to warm up to millennials by your posts, your TikToks, your reels, whatever you're posting. And then before they call you, they're going to look up your reviews. Like they said, 22% want to see what are you doing in the community to give back, because the millennials are big on that. Okay? Throwing it out there. That's where that brand, you create that brand, it's going to lead them to online reviews. So how do you get more online reviews? Well, you got to ask them. Okay? Be ready to ask. All right? Ask them, like I told you about the little video. Send them a link. Why did you choose me? What was it about me or what we did that was most appealing to you? What was your biggest concern? You know, what was your result in working with us? So I would have an email that has a bunch of different options, Google, Zillow, Facebook, whatever, all the different options that you use for reviews, and give them the option of doing one or two. Okay. All right. Thank you so much for joining us today and hanging around, where hopefully you took away some personal branding do's and don'ts, how to create that trust with your brand story, hopefully some steps to powerful branding, so on and so forth. Please don't forget to hit that like button, help my algorithm, right? Also, don't forget to subscribe, because our next session is just around the corner. All right. Also, hit the bell for notifications so it lets you know when I do post a new video. All right. This is your Boss Mortgage Coach, Carrie Cobb. Thank you again for tuning in. Until the next video, see ya.